Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. So, in today's video, let me just put my banner on. Actually, I forgot to put it on. In today's video, I'm going to catch you up a little bit with what's happening with the sort of case of Preston Davey, the little baby. Let's have a look at Preston. You never get tired of looking at this baby's beautiful little face, do you? It's a shame that, you know, Preston won't be growing up. We won't have any further photos of Preston. Preston was only 13 months old, of course, when he was murdered by his so-called dads, adoptive dads. He'd only been in their care for 4 months. And anyway, I'm not going to go through all the details of what they did to him. Again, we've been through all that. It's on the playlist, the court case we went through. I don't want to talk about all those injuries, go into detail. But basically, he had 40 separate injuries when he died, and he'd only been with this horrible couple for 4 months. So, you're looking at an average of 10 injuries a month, aren't you? So, yeah, bless his little heart. So it's too late for Preston. Preston couldn't be saved. But do you know this sort of part of me that thinks, I know it sounds awful, but if Preston wouldn't have died that day when they just went that too far in abusing him, they'd been abusing him for 4 months, and they probably would have carried on abusing him. No, they wouldn't have stopped, would they? They only stopped because he died. He'd been taken to hospital before, and it didn't stop them carrying on doing it. So, you wonder that if little Preston would have lived, would he, right to this day, would he, as we speak, being abused still? But this time in a bigger house, because what we're finding out is what these monsters did is just literally, hardly 5 minutes after this boy died at their hands. They bought a great big lovely new house in the country, a lovely area, lots of bedrooms. Why did they have all those bedrooms? Why did they need a big house like that? It's just the two of them. They didn't even have Preston by then. And I would very strongly doubt that they were ever allowed to adopt, would have ever been allowed to adopt again. Were they thinking of having surrogates to have their own children? Were they thinking of having more children? Why did they want a great big massive house? So that's what we're going to look at. That house now is going under auction, and we're going to have a look at that house. God, they didn't let the grass grow under their feet. Oh yeah, our babies died, but we'll feel better once we buy a nice big house. They're just horrible, horrible individuals, aren't they? I just will be calling them Monster 1 and Monster 2. Monster 1, of course, is the one that was charged with murder and found guilty of murder. And he's been given a full life tariff, which he is serving in Wakefield Prison, in Monster Mansion. And I'm going to catch you up a little bit on what people are saying is happening with him there. Monster 2, he couldn't be prosecuted for murder because he wasn't there on the day that Preston died, but he has been prosecuted for allowing the death of the child, and convicted, I should say, not prosecuted, and several sex charges. So he apparently, from at first it was, people were speculating where he'd been taken. And there was speculation that he might have gone to Strangeways, Manchester prison. But I believe, I'm not certain because, I can't find an official confirmation. But he is apparently in Full Sutton prison, which is near York. and this was opened in 1987 and holds over 550 of the UK's most dangerous and notorious adult male offenders. So it also includes a close supervision centre for the most disruptive and high-risk inmates. Now, I did have a closer look at Monster Mansion, didn't I? I did a video about Monster Mansion, the Wakefield prison, where Monster 1 is. So on another video, I'll look a bit more closely at Full Sutton prison, because I don't know a lot about Full Sutton prison. So anyway, that's apparently where he is. We're not getting many reports, you know, of how he's feeling. Is he, you know, crying every day like the other one is? But we're getting quite a few reports about Monster 1 and how his experience so far is in the Monster Mansion, that is Wakefield prison. And I'm going to talk about a couple of those in a moment. A couple of some things are rumours. I'm sure some things are true. It's difficult to get official confirmation, isn't it, of things that are going on. But we're going to talk about that as well before we look at this fantastic house that's going up for auction. But who would want to live in it? Who would want to live in a house like this where two monsters have lived? Other disturbing details that are coming out, according to the Sun newspaper and other media outlets, are how Monster 1, weird things that he was doing when he was at school, you know, exposing himself in class, being sex obsessed. I still will never know how these two men were ever allowed to have Preston. Adopt Preston. It stinks of political correctness. Oh yeah, a gay couple, let them adopt. I don't think checks and balances were done properly. I really don't. I think this was fast tracked, even though there are a lot of warning signs, and that is bad for everybody, you know, especially Preston, who lost his life through it. But it's bad for other gay couples who want to adopt, because now this is tarnishing gay people, you know. I don't know. It's just, why were they allowed Preston? And I mean, there were glaring red flags, so immature. Even by their own admission, they had no experience with babies. So you tell me how anybody, gay or not, gets to adopt a baby when in their own admission they haven't got an effing clue what they're doing with babies. So somebody tell me how that happened. Now I can feel myself getting angry. But anyway, okay, so thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. A lot of you care about Preston. I know, you know, it's just been a terrible story, hasn't it? It was just so distressing, wasn't it? So distressing. That poor little baby. Anyway, he's at peace now. Hopefully he is in the arms of Jesus and he's not being abused by those horrible men anymore. That's for sure. So no more pain, no more suffering. But it would have been nice, wouldn't it? We saw him on the videos from the foster parents. That's the happy baby that Preston was, and that's the life he should have been allowed to continue. Anyway, thank you for caring about that. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Please don't forget, liking and subscribing and sharing and hyping the videos is a completely free way you can help out my channel if you wish. Don't forget to press the notifications bell so that you get a notice of any new videos coming out. Special thank you to my members. Thank you so much. Thank you to those of you who've sent coffees or Ko-fis, because depending on which channel you're watching on, I have a buy me a coffee link and also a buy me a Ko-fi link. The two channels have different coffee, but you can go on either one, it doesn't matter. Thank you for the super stickers. Thank you for some people send me PayPal direct. Yeah, Thank you for all the ways you help support my channel, the emails you send me, the messages you leave. Thank you so much for interacting positively in my channel. I've got a few sniffles today. I think it's allergies. I don't think I've got a cold or anything. I think it is pure allergies. Hello, lovely lurkers. Thank you for watching. Hello, replay crew. Thank you so much. Let's see who's in here. Hey, Kelly. Yeah, they're a weird couple, aren't they? You know, I mean, really, I don't know why I'm surprised, because you're trying to make sense of what people do. You can't understand them. And it's good that we can't understand them, isn't it? Because we're not like them. You know, thing is, you know, your baby, or they kept calling my son, little one, has died because you've basically, pardon my French, but basically SHGGED them to, and you go out and buy a new house, like great big lavish house. And this does what does fit in with the course is what the police detective Instagram lifestyle. You know, they would have looked, oh, our new house. Oh yeah, our baby died, but never mind, you can always get another one. But we've got a new house, you know. It's just moving on so quickly. I know they'd already started the process, hadn't they? But I suppose they wanted to move out the area as well. They want to get away from anyone who knew anything about Preston. I expect where the place where they moved to, you know, they probably never said they had a baby. You know, Preston. Oh yeah, this baby, but 4 months later, oh my God, he just died, just like that. You know, it's like reminds me of a Ricky Gervais sketch that he did. You know how irreverent Ricky Gervais is. He did a sketch about a baby dying. I know it sounds awful because you think, oh God, how could that possibly be funny? It doesn't feel funny now because I feel like these men, it was just like that. It was just like, oh, the baby's dead. Oh, well, never mind. What should we do now? Oh, we'll get a new house, or, you know, get a new car, or we'll go on holiday. And of course, Monster One changed his appearance completely, didn't he? He went from short dark hair to the Ibiza look with the long blonde hair, streaked, facial hair, tan. You know, they probably had holidays. They probably had a great time after Preston was gone, because they were back to their free and easy lifestyle. They wanted a baby, not to give the baby a new life, a good life. They wanted a baby to fit in with their Instagram lifestyle, so that they could say, oh, look at us, you know how fashionable it is these days for gay couples to have babies. Well, it could have been a Gucci handbag, it could have been a Jaguar car, it could have been anything that they thought would impress people that they could put on their social media. Him, you know, as a baby that needed a vulnerable baby who'd already, no, should have really been with his birth parents, but because of the, you know, that was a sort of difficult circumstance, wasn't it? Because Preston's own birth mother, sadly, she too is a murderer from when she was very young, wasn't she? Killed an old lady. But, you know, she was only 14 at the time. But poor Preston, I mean, it makes you speechless, really, doesn't it? Poor Preston. He's probably better off where he is, to be honest, now. In the arms of Jesus, out of pain, out of suffering. He's not going to be abused anymore. And, you know, when I was looking at this new house of theirs, which we're going to look at in a minute, I was struck by, I was thinking, if Preston was still alive, he would be being abused in this house. You know, it's a beautiful house. I mean, it is a beautiful house. Anybody would love to live there. And they would have been there, perfect dads again. all the while abusing Preston just in a different environment. So at least that's not happening to him. Hey, Daniel. Yeah, happy 4th of July. So 200 to all my American viewers. Happy 50th, is it? 250th anniversary of American independence. Well, Kelly, Preston was taken from his mother because of her history and also drugs. I think there was a drug substance abuse problem. He was born wasn't he born in a detainment facility, I think? He was with his mum for a couple of days. Well, I mean, she didn't murder anybody else, so I suppose she was reformed in that way, but no, she's got drug issues. And I think a few times she was released and then ended up back in detainment because of drugs. I mean, I don't know the full history, but Preston and her only got to spend a couple of days together. And she also had a daughter, I think. I think it was a daughter. And she was with her grandma, with Preston's biological mother, said, already had her children with her. But she was older, of course. But Preston's grandma had cancer. It's a very tragic, whichever way you look at it. I sort of don't know what to say about Preston's mum, really, because obviously she did a terrible, terrible thing when she was young. She did, and she was still taking substances. So, but I still feel sorry for her. I love Preston, but what can you say? It's very difficult. Anyway, so he would have gone to his grandma's, but grandma who said she couldn't have him, or social services decided she couldn't have it, have him. Very sad. Very, very sad. Thing is, there isn't a family, is there? But there's lots of children live in households where their parents are going through cancer treatment. So, I mean, the best thing that could have happened to Preston would be to stay with the foster parents. The foster parents had to give him up, and Preston was going to be their last foster child. But then what happened to Preston, they decided they couldn't give up fostering because there are too many vulnerable children out there who needed them. And so they've ended up taking on 3 siblings, and they saved them from the care system or the adoption system, at least for now. There is no perfect answer, is there? It's just so very sad all the way around, I think, this case. Anyway, the good thing, full life tariff. He will never come out of prison, which is brilliant sentence. That is the best. It's the best sentence Britain can offer. Can't offer a better sentence than that. We don't have. Excuse me. I don't know why I'm all sneezy this morning. A lot of people have left my mind saying they should have got the death penalty. They should have got the death penalty. Well, I don't agree with the death penalty, and also I think they'll suffer more without the death penalty. Monster One, he'll be miserable in prison. Don't forget, these men, they've had an idyllic lifestyle. A lot of people who go to prison's better than the life they've left behind. So homeless, or they've got terrible, chaotic family backgrounds or whatever. No, they've got miserable lives anyway. But not these two. These two and people too, they feel it more when they go to prison because they've had a brilliant life. They've got massive incomes. I don't know if Monster One went back to work anyway. Surely he couldn't have taught anywhere. Because he was a teacher. A teacher. When you hear what he got up to when he was at school, how did he get to become a teacher? What kind of safeguarding at his school? He was head of school. God's sake. Oh, thank you, Kelly. Kelly, that's very kind. Thank you. So, they had a brilliant life. So this will hit them hard. Going to prison hits some people harder than others. Some people might be grateful to go to prison and think, at least I don't have to worry about my bills. I don't have to worry about where I'm going to get my next bit of food from. Do you know what I mean? Some people, prison is better than the life they're leaving behind outside. But not for these two. No, they are having a great life. Like Monster 2, he's a high-flying executive dealing with £1 million contracts. I don't know what Monster 1 ended up doing when he was a teacher. Sure, he may have been on pay, as you said. He may have been with pay. The thing is, the other thing that we must remember, they were not of freedom they had before they were arrested and finally, put in prison without bail. So they had 2 years of freedom to enjoy this beautiful new house that they bought. The thing is, I suppose, did Jamie work? Oh, sorry, I mentioned his name. Did he work after that at the school? Because the thing is, you can't suspend someone because their baby dies. That maybe for those 2 years, everyone around them was thinking, "Oh, this is a terrible, tragic accident. Poor dads." I don't know. I mean, and they moved. Of course, they moved out the area, changed their appearance, and the new area that we went. Now, this just shows you don't even know you're living next door to, do you? Even in a lovely, you think, you're living in a nice neighbourhood, because you think if you're living on some rough council estate, you'd be wary of your neighbours, maybe. But then you move to a lovely place like one, and you're thinking, what a lovely area. You don't even know you've got living next door to you, do you? Apparently, they used to dress the house up for Halloween and this, that, and the other. They'd entice the kids, leave sweets for the kids. Oh, God. Oh, my God. I would imagine that, especially Monster 1, kids would like him. Thanks for that again, Kelly. Because he's so immature himself. He's like a kid himself. Apparently, he was a popular teacher. I could see that he would be a popular teacher because kids, especially teenagers, they like quirky teachers. They don't like boring teachers. They would probably think Monster 1 was, he's cool, he's great, and, he's all those things that kids would think was great. And adults probably, the thing is, he was, a person who probably was very sociable, very, affable, friendly. Sometimes people like that, makes interesting personalities. Hey, Darren, hi. So do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, you just wouldn't, I don't think you'd be careful in a place where they were living as to, what you're supposed to do a police check on all your neighbours. Honestly, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Anyway, we're going going to talk about the house, but first of all, just to read for you this. Hang on. So I put it into the Sun newspaper, and I'm just reading it out. Class as he was a pupil. He was described as an odd loner, and he was actually playing with himself in class. And one person said he was always walking around with a doll in a pram, which is the law, is it? I mean, he was obviously gay, knew he was gay from when he was young. That's not a crime. Walking around with a doll is not a crime. But playing with yourself in class, he loved exposing his genitals. Well, that tells us a story, because we remember that quite all those pictures of Preston's genitals. Apparently, he was sex obsessed. This man was ever allowed to adopt a baby. No. Why was his past not looked into? How was he allowed to be a teacher? That are unadvisable or regrettable, but some things, how many you've probably done things in class that you shouldn't have been naughty, cheeky to the teacher. Oh my God, I know this school. I'm sure I do. But anyway, so apparently, according to what it says, one of his schools, he would get his genitals out in full view. I don't know if it's true or not. This is what they're saying in the Sun, some old clapper and this, that, and the other. Well, being alone is not a criminal offence either, is it? So, but so these are things that are coming out. The other thing that's being said about Monster One, this is when he was young, Kelly, not when he was a teacher. No. God, surely even in his modern outfit, but not while he was a pupil himself, when he was at school himself. Other things that are being said, and again, reports that come out of the prison, until the actual authorities, confirm them can't be true. But what we've been told is, he's crying himself to sleep practically every night. He's refusing to leave his cell because he'd be terrified of leaving his cell, won't it? He's refusing to eat. He'd be skating because of what people are going to put in his food. There'll be a lot refusing to eat. He's refusing to leave his cell. He's apparently trying to escape because he says he's just going to die there. So he wants to die now. Well, I'll tell you what, someone's going to help him out with that quite soon, I would imagine. Then there was a report that he had been stabbed in prison. This was the other day. Anyway, that was a report. That was a rumour that was all over the Facebook post. That he'd been. Anyway, that's not true. So the Ministry of Justice came out, made a statement and said, no, this has not happened. Yeah, presume you can trust that the Ministry of Justice are telling the truth. Who knows? Also, we don't want him to be stabbed yet. We want him to stay for a bit longer, don't we? I thought, oh no, that's too soon. That's too soon. Let him suffer. Let him look over his shoulder. Let him worry every day what's going to happen to him. Like Preston had to. Kill him yet? Kill him yet? It's much too soon. I mean, I personally would just let him suffer his whole life because I think that's worse than killing him, to be honest. And as I said, someone like him who's used to the good life, it's going to be torture for him to be in prison, not be able to leave his cell, no Instagram. Now he's probably eventually going to make some kind of thing there. Maybe somebody will come forward who wants to protect him. Maybe he'll form a relationship with somebody. These things do happen. Not all child killers get in prison because they must. Also, he's got money, so maybe he can be for protection. So there's probably all sorts of things going on there. I don't know if his family are visiting him. I can't imagine how his mum feels about all this. How close he was to his mum. He was screaming for his mum at the A&E. Is she visiting him? What do you think of it all now? The truth, because she didn't know the truth before the trial. She only knew what he'd told her and what Monster 2 had told her. Now all these videos and everything have come out, and now she knows what happened and he's been convicted. What is she making of it all? And the rest of his family. Because don't forget, he used to babysit for all his nieces and nephews. God. Anyway, so that's something else that is going on with him. So there's a few things. Crying himself to sleep all the time. He's on hunger strike. He doesn't want to eat. He doesn't want to leave. He's trying to plan an escape, of course. These are the stories that are coming out of the prison, probably through other prisoners or maybe even prison guards. Because prison guards definitely leak things as well, don't they? Now, as far as Monster 2 is concerned, Sutton prison, don't really know what's happening with him. He's talked about so much. To me, he is just as if there's anything coming up. But yeah, it's very quiet about him. Because all the worst anger, of course, is saved for Monster 1. The prison where he is being held is not officially confirmed. Just says he must be in a secure facility. On a vulnerable, don't know. So yeah, we don't know anything really about what's happening with him. He's probably accepted everything a lot more fatalistically. He's a calmer person to me. He living with Monster 1. I think he's a Monster 1 is like an sex addict. Some people are with sex at that folder. And there's rumoured that there's bestiality in there, God knows what in there. So, it all comes back to the fact that if somebody wants to go to bed, they have to give up then. They have to. And let I think if it had been noticed in this case, though, anyway, it's too late now. That's interesting, isn't it? Who will get the money? Now, I would imagine, well, we know it's mortgaged by this house. Maybe it was maybe there's not equity in it, Sarah. Maybe whatever, because the price has been slashed, of course. Maybe whatever equity is in it will go to the mortgage company, the mortgage. So maybe there's really anything left over. But if it is left over, I presume they will get the proceeds. Bill, and we don't know how did that. To start with, I mean, and then they didn't have Preston anymore. They were both earning all that time. They'd be quite a lot of money. They might have a lot of money in their bank account. We just don't know. We don't know their financial circumstances because they also, will have had to pay legal fees. Would they have had to pay legal fees, or would they have had public defenders? I'm not even sure about that. And of course, the house will have had to be upkept. They've been detained, haven't they, since, was it last autumn? I just don't know. I don't know all those financial ins and outs, but don't forget the price has been slashed. The mortgage has got to pay off on it. They want their money back. Whatever mortgage they took out, I don't know if they took out 100% mortgage, even maybe. We just don't know. Let's have a look at this house, though. I mean, it's a bloody nice house. It's a beautiful house. And as I say, if you were a neighbour, you'd think, you've done quite well in a place like this. The size of it for two men. What do they want a big house like that for? Now, they started the process of buying it, of course, before, didn't they? The process of buying this house was already started. So why did they want a big house like this just for them and Preston, even? Because Preston was still alive then. Were they planning on adopting more children? Was this going to end up being like a monster mansion all of itself, with lots of different children in there that were abusing? I'm going to tell you about another story from the US in a moment. Just reminds me a bit of this. Don't know if you've heard about it, but when we finish looking at the house, we'll look at that. So this house has been discovered. There were 16 children living in one room. 16 children from the ages of 2 to 20 or whatever. I mean, just like, well, it won't be 20 because it won't be children, but yeah, 16 there. Was that what they were planning? Adopting a load more children? I don't know. Anyway, as you can see, it's a beautiful house. Like the countryside there, and I mean, it's beautiful. So it's going for £370,000. The auction will close on the 13th of July at 1 o'clock. To register and bid, please follow. So I found this on Rightmove, but it's probably on quite a few different things. So, immaculate detached property with stunning countryside views. 5 bedrooms, 2 ensuite shower rooms. CCTV security system. For sale by modern auction. Buyer's fees apply. Set upon a superb plot in a highly convenient integral double garage. High standard contemporary finish throughout, subject to reserve price and the modern method of auction. This immaculate 5-bedroom detached residence, beautifully positioned in a sought-after location, surrounded by green spaces and affording stunning views. The property opens with 2 generously proportioned reception rooms. The pristine kitchen includes an inviting dining space. Every detail has been carefully considered to ensure both functionality and comfort. Leading from the hall to the first floor, spacious doubles. The master bedroom features built-in wardrobes and a luxurious ensuite bathroom, ensuring privacy and convenience for its occupants. A second double bedroom also benefits from its own ensuite, ideal for guests. The main family bathroom is elegantly finished and features a heated towel rail. Moving outdoors, the property includes a delightful garden. An integral double garage offers secure parking and extra storage. Additional peace of mind is provided by a comprehensive CCTV system, ensuring the safety and security of the home and its occupants at all times. Yeah, not if you live there, it doesn't. Not if they're your dad's, it doesn't. Set within a vibrant community known for its tranquility and picturesque surroundings, this outstanding property truly embodies quality, comfort, timeless appeal. Its proximity to green spaces combines the best of rural charm with easy access to essential amenities. The vendor serving a custodial sentence following conviction for offences involving minors. So full disclosure, they're telling the truth. It's understood that the offences were not committed at this property. This information is being provided in the interest of transparency and to assist prospective purchasers in making an informed decision. Buyers should undertake their own inquiries and satisfy themselves as to any matters that might influence their decision to bid for or purchase the property. I Am Sold cannot confirm the details or legal implications of this matter, and it accepts no liability for any actions taken or costs incurred based on this disclosure. About the people who live there, that they're serving custodial sentences, so exactly, I don't know who would want to live there. I don't know, Sarah. I mean, it's a beautiful property. That's why people would want to live there, but they couldn't say they hadn't been told. And don't forget, the crimes didn't happen there. So as far as we know, there's no crime that has happened there, and it probably is a massive bargain, It's probably a bargain, isn't it? Some people won't look any further than that, I agree with you. I wouldn't want to. I would want to live there or not there, but it's beautiful, isn't it? One of the other houses maybe, but some people don't care. Some people don't care, and I think what added to the fact that the actual crimes did not happen there, but they lived there, didn't they? They were in there. You'd feel like they were haunting it. But some people don't care. Some people won't care. They'll just look at that. Ooh, 370,000. I think they paid 450,000 for it. So it's a massive bargain. Some people will only see that. Or then people might buy it and rent it out. Or they might buy it and develop it. I don't know what people would be planning. But for some people who were looking for a lovely big property, semi-rural, but they didn't have a £450,000 budget, they'd look at that and think, oh my God, that's an absolute bargain. So maybe that's why. Let's have a look at more photos. Oh, look, yeah, look, all this land at the back. You know, let's have a look at the video. Showcase video. Just turning the sound down on it. It's irritating. So, well, you can see, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful house. Some people will only see that. But I agree with you, Sarah. I certainly wouldn't want to live there. You know, and knowing as well what they were getting up to all the time with their bloody sex folders and their sex toys, and you know, which probably a lot of people have. I'm not, but you know, I'm not a prude. But just looking at that bed there, you just think, oh God, the thought of them in that bedroom, if that is the main bedroom. Do you know what I mean? What were they getting up to in there? They're just such revolting people. You couldn't get past it, really, could you? But it's a beautiful house. Big back garden. There we go. Should we arrange a viewing? Now, I have to say, though, again, so that proves my point, what I was saying earlier. Some people who go to prison, they're living pretty, you know, they could even be homeless or living pretty squalidly. Imagine going from this to the Monster Mansion. Imagine how Monster 1 and Monster 2, this is where they were living not that long ago. Now look where they are. You know, that's quite a good punishment in itself. You know, as I say, people calling for the death penalty, but for them to go from this to Monster Mansion for the rest of his life, I think that's better punishment than the death penalty. What do you think? They've gone from that to a cell. And not only that, living in fear of their lives. You know? So it's not only that they've gone from living here to living in a cell, a tiny little cell, but also they they're too scared to even go out the cell. You know, so the limited space that they have got to move around, he'd be too terrified to go out and do that. So I think that's a better punishment than the death penalty, personally. Death penalty is too quick, too easy. You know, I don't believe in the death penalty, but even if I did, I would like to see them suffer a bit. You know, and I think they're suffering to move from a house like that into a tiny cell that you can't even go out of because you're too scared you'll be attacked. And also, he's frightened to eat because he doesn't know what people are putting in his food, etc. Isn't that a better punishment than death? Wouldn't death be too quick? So if one of the other prisoners is going to attack him, I hope he leaves him a little while. First of all, let him suffer. Let them suffer. You know, they've got to suffer. Death's too quick. They've got to suffer as they let Preston suffer. So as I say, it did strike me that if Preston had lived that day, he would now be living here with these monsters, being abused in a bigger house. You know, sort of almost in a better place, isn't he? That's if Preston hadn't died that day, that's where Preston would be now, and he'd be four, would it be? Uh, Living there with them, they'd be all sort of, they're already sort of, apparently for Halloween they dressed the house up and they invited kids to come and get sweets, etc. Oh my God, it's like that. It's like would you like a sweetie, little boy? Isn't it? It's like this sort of meme of PDFs, isn't it? Giving them sweets, somebody offering you sweets, or probably next they would have got some kittens or puppies or something. Just awful to think they were there, just intermingling with the neighbours and pretending to be nice people, and all the time they were baby murderers. Terrible to think of. But I agree with you as well there, Sarah. I think houses hold memories. I think I've walked into houses where the chill you get. I have talked about it on a video before. This particular time, I went with a friend of mine to see a place right out in the country here in Spain, but it was like right out in the in the wilds, in the boonies, as we say. Tiniest little village you've ever seen in your life. It was literally a church of 5 houses, and we went into this house. Oh my God. To me it was like walking into a fridge. That's how it felt. Literally walked in through the door. It was freezing cold. Freezing. Like I just can't explain it. How cold, because it would have been winter probably in Spain, and inside the houses it is cold in the winter. But this was literally like walking into a fridge. It was the weirdest little house. In fact, do you know what? I'm getting chills now as I'm talking about it. I'm actually getting goosebumps. Anyway, she was looking around the house with the estate agent, and I said, look, I'm going to have to go out and sit in the car. I can't be in this house. And I went out, sat in the car and put the heater on. I had to defrost. I was so cold. And when she came out, and she didn't like it, as it happened anyway. And do you know what it used to be? Look, I'm getting the chills again. I'm getting the chills. It used to be, the estate agent told her, it used to be like a place where children, it was like, oh God, how can I explain it? It's like a priest lived there, and there'd be children living there who were like, not like altar boys, but in the care of the church. So, oh God, I just felt terrible things had happened in that house. I just felt it as soon as I went in, the freezing, how cold it was. And then when she told me that's where it was. It was like a parish house where children would live who had nowhere else to go. A bit like a care facility, if you like, but associated with the church, the local priest. Years ago. I mean, it had been a domestic home for quite a while. Oh my God. Terrible things happened in there. That's how I felt when I walked in there. The freezing cold. I remember it to this day. And I've been to see a lot of houses over my long life. I've been in obviously a lot of different houses, and not only to go and view them, and with friends to go and view houses, but also just visiting people's houses. I have never stepped into a house like that where I felt like some terrible, terrible things had happened there. So, anyway, so I believe that as well. Let's have a look at the other photos. So, yeah, when you look at this house, you just think, oh, here's another couple of videos. Preston would be there. wouldn't he? If he hadn't died, he'd be living there and being abused in there. I thought it was a different video, but it's the same one. Let's see, is this that? It's the same video. Yeah, and there's all the photos. So that's the look, that's the landing and stairs going up. I mean, it's very, very nice house, I think, personally. But yeah, who'd want to live there? Oh, look, there's the office. This reminds me a bit of when, for those of you who were with my channel, when we looked at Nicola Bully's house, when her house was up for sale. You get, it's quite eerie, isn't it, really? Yeah. Nice bathroom. Oh God, I mean, and do you know what? That makes me go cold because, of course, remember the bath? That's where Preston, where Monster One had said Preston was, wasn't it, on that fateful day that, of course, he put him in the bath. Because you know what? That's what you do with a 13-month-old baby. You just put them in the bath and you leave them there while you go and condition your hair. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I suppose he has got a TV, Sarah. Do you think he's got a TV? Maybe he's got a PlayStation. I don't know. He strikes me as someone who'd definitely play on the PlayStation. He's so immature, isn't he? Yeah. Anyway, it's for sale. So you've got a spare £375,000 and you want a beautiful, I mean, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful house. This is how they were, isn't it? They're all show. You'd go in that house and he said about the other house, he said it was a show home. Why did they ever want a baby? Babies, and it gets worse as they get older, of course. Your house is not a show home, is it? When you've got kids, it can't possibly be. Because oh God, they just wanted Preston to show him off on Instagram. They didn't really want to have to deal with the baby. And he was being sick every 5 minutes because he was being abused, of course. And of course, then we hear about Monster One. What happened when he got his sentence? He threw up. He's obsessed with vomit. He's a disgusting man. Vomiting. He filmed Preston pooing in the bath. I mean, what sort of a man is it? He's a very inappropriate man. And now we're finding out these things about when he was at school and he was exposing his genitals all the time. How was he ever allowed to adopt a baby? Don't they check into things? I don't know. You just feel they should check everything. Yeah, immaculate. But of course, it'll have been made immaculate for the photos. But just lovely. Semi-roller. It's on the end as well. In a cul-de-sac. Gosh, very beautiful house. Somebody will buy it. Somebody will snap it up at that price. Somebody, that's their budget, and they'll be looking at that and be thinking, bloody hell, there's a £450,000 house, and I can get for 375,000. I mean, really, you could buy it and sell it in a couple of weeks, and you'll have made £75,000. You could then sell it for 450,000. Let's just have a look at this. This is a virtual tour, I think. I don't know if it'll come. So there you go. Yeah, they were, Sarah. Hi, Lily. They were encouraging children into the house. I was saying that earlier. Yeah. It's like that epitome of how you expect PDS to be. Would you like a sweetie? Oh, I've got some puppies I can show you. That would have been the next thing, got some puppies in or something. And the other thing is, they would be grooming, the parents as well, making themselves, oh, they're a lovely gay couple there at the end. They're so nice. So nice with the kids. And these poor people didn't know what had happened before. They've changed their appearance as well. Okay. Now, I just want to show you one thing before I finish, because this is something I'm going to be covering. I don't know if you've seen this case. This case over there. 16 children found living in one room. So this is in Ohio. Found in a home in Ohio, trapped in one room for 4 years. There's no limit that children have to suffer. Right, let me just share this. There's so many different forms of abuse as well, isn't there? You just think sometimes how many others are out there. We're getting to know about this, but for 4 years nobody knew about it. Police in Ohio have rescued 16 children from a home in a condition that a state lawmaker described as being, beyond comprehension. They are believed to belong to the family and were discovered on Tuesday morning during a court-authorized search warrant executed at a residence in Hamden, a village in Vinton County, about 350. Ongoing investigation involving allegations of domestic abuse and child neglect. So is there a photo of the people? Because if you see a photo, so there are 4 adults: Gary Siders Jr., Elizabeth Siders, Gary Siders Sr., and Christina Siders have been charged with 17 counts of endangering children, each a second-degree felony, in what Vinton County Prosecutor William Archer stated was an intra-family situation and did not involve human trafficking. Anyway, I'm not going to go into all the details of this case in this video. But yeah, there was an extremely high presence of bacterial and human feces inside the home. I've seen livestock kept better. The children were contained in an area of the home roughly measuring 12 feet by 12 feet for most of the last 4 years. And the neighbours and other members of the community told police they had no idea that any children lived in the house. So the children, I think they range from 2 to 16 or something like that. One of the children is 18 but is developmentally disabled. Well, I'm not surprised. And I think the youngest one was 2. Let me just have a look. I've got a photo of the... photo somewhere on Jennifer Coffin Daffer shared it. Just want to show, because honestly, when you look at the photo, there we go. Let me just share it. You look at the photo of them and you want to have a shower. Oops. You look at the photo of these horrible people and it makes you want a shower. Just revolting. You can just tell how revolting it is by looking at the photos. Look at these. Oh my God. Now, the younger woman, she was probably trafficked by them or groomed by them at some point. So I think that revolting old man and the old woman, they're the parents of the younger man. And that is his wife or partner. Was she initially trafficked? I mean, it's just a revolting case, isn't it? When I look at that photo, it makes me itch. Do you know what I mean? It's like they look disgusting, they look dirty, unkempt. And what were those poor children going through? Anyway, they've been rescued. That's the good news. But, you know, how they're going to recover. Oh, I've got to share it. Sorry, I haven't shared it yet. Sorry. Oh, you wish you hadn't seen it when you see it, Kelly. There you go. Because you won't be able to unsee it. No, we don't know yet, Sarah, all the full details. I think actually, though, I think they were the woman. I think if the young woman, they were her children, or it's thought they were, because they're saying it's like an inter-family thing. Just awful, isn't it? But there's a lot to come out about this case. So apparently they've moved around a lot. They've lived in Ohio, but moved from county to county. But they've been at this property for about 4 years. And investigators believe the family largely avoided establishing medical and other government records since 2008. I'm just seeing if there's any more information. Yeah, I think it's all being investigated. But the thing is, the children, at least they're out of there now. But how many other children? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? So apparently the detective was asked if Elizabeth was the mother of all 16 children or if there was any evidence of sex abuse, but he said he could not answer because it's an ongoing investigation. And he said the evidence collected from the home revealed the unimaginable conditions these children were forced to endure and described what investigators encountered as pure evil. But in a press conference on Wednesday, the detective said there's no risk to other children or members of. No, yeah, it's an inter-family thing, aren't they? Absolutely. I wonder if I can make that picture bigger, though. Not that we particularly want to look closer, but oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, revolting, all of them. So you look at that and you just think, God, you start itching and you want to have a shower just looking at the photo. Imagine being in a room, 16 children in a room, no toilet. But as I say, just makes you wonder how many other cases are there out there that we don't even know about, because every now and again one will come up, won't it? And it reminded me a little bit of Joseph Fritzl, who kept his daughter in a cellar under the house, and that only came out, and then she had lots of his children. And he would sometimes he would put the baby on the doorstep with a note as if it was from his daughter, so his wife thought his daughter had run away, come back with a baby and asked them to bring it up. And so some of the children that his daughter had, his own children, he brought up into the house, but his wife did not know that her daughter was down in the cellar. I mean, you can't make it up, can you? Don't need to watch true crime. You don't need to watch crime shows on the telly, because true crime is much stranger than fiction. These are things that really happen. Yeah, poor kids. Just revolting people. Ugh, icky, icky. Let me get that off, actually. So, yeah, we'll be covering that case. There's another interesting case that I want to tell you about. That I don't know if you heard about it. There's a guy, talk about instant justice. The guy, I think it was in America. Let's see if I can find it. Uh, this is not about children, you'll be glad to know. But I thought this was a very good case of instant justice. So this man died of a heart attack after he'd strangled his girlfriend, and he was high in the process. Georgia in America. Unbelievable, the things that happen, really. I say, you couldn't make these things up, could you? Let me just check it's sharing. Yeah, it is. But let's set the cookies. And dies of a heart attack while he's dumping her body. How's that for instant justice? Instant karma. Let's have a look at the video. It's weird. Come on, come on. So authorities in Alabama believe that a man strangled his girlfriend, then died of a heart attack while disposing of her body in a wooded area. Jessica Foles, 47, and her boyfriend, 44-year-old Daniel Robbins, were found dead June the 10th in a wooded area in Lanett, Chambers County. Deputies found the couple's bodies next to each other in the. A pickup truck was in the road with the headlights still on and the driver's side door open. Sheriff Jeff Nelson said a drag path was visible at the scene, and autopsy results showed that the woman had been strangled. They believe that Robbins killed her and was in the process, according to his ex-wife. She lived a few miles from the site where the bodies were found, but Robbins was from South Georgia. And according to her obituary, they keep calling her Folds. What's her first name? I can't be using people's second names. Jessica. Jessica. So, where is it? According to her obituary, Jessica is survived by her 3 sons and 2 grandchildren. She was described as a woman with a heart of gold who had a deep love for everyone and a smile that brightened. And the law enforcement agency continues to investigate from the Davis camp, the FBI. How's that for instant justice? Where's the photos? Let's have a look. What's her name? Jessica Folds. Yeah, bit of instant justice. Little bit of instant justice. Oh, there she is, or there's both of them. Where has it gone off? Why has it gone off? Oh, it's gone. Right, sorry about that. It seemed to go off for some reason. I think I'm back now. Let's share that again. Don't know why it went off. It does sometimes, you know what it's like. So this is Jessica Folds. And yeah, her boyfriend allegedly murdered her and then died. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Oh, is it showing? Come on. There, finally. Finally. There she is, bless her. Well, I bet she's putting him the middle finger up from heaven to, like, yeah, bit of instant karma. That is like, that's almost like God's judgment, isn't it? So before he got a chance to, go to court, or, I mean, would he have even been caught? I mean, would her body have been found so quickly if it wasn't for the fact his pickup truck was in the road with the lights on and everything because he'd had a heart attack? So how long would it have taken them to find poor Jessica? Anyway, apparently he collapsed on top of her as he was dragging her into the undergrowth to hide her body. What a twat. But anyway, that really is a bit of instant justice. He had a heart attack as he was disposing of her. And I mean, the only thing I suppose is her family, they won't get to find out what happened. Why did he do it? He won't have to go to court. They won't get a chance to do their victim impact statements. So in another way, he's escaped justice, I suppose. But I don't think anyone will be really crying over him. It just seems like poetic justice, doesn't it? There you are, hiding your girlfriend's body and you have a heart attack. So it's hard to feel sorry for him. But yeah, thank you for the candle for Jessica. Kelly, thank you for that. Poor Jessica. Anyway, we'll probably never know the real story of like what happened. Did Did they have a toxic relationship, or was it a money thing? You know, we probably never know, maybe, what the reason was, because everyone has a reason, some kind of reason. But I just thought I'd tell you about that. Okay, so that's it. So we'll be reporting more on the case of the 16 little ones found in one room, living in one room for at least the last 4 years. Good God. Just unbelievable, isn't it? Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video or found it interesting. Enjoyed's maybe not the right word for true crime. Interesting, isn't it, about the two monsters and the house that they're used to living in, the contrast to where they're living now in prison. I mean, it does make me feel good that, you know, they will really suffer in prison. When you look at where they were living before in that beautiful house, you know, and now where they're living, they're really going to suffer, apart from the fact, you know, they'll have to look after over their shoulder every minute. So no wonder Monster One is refusing to eat, refusing to leave his cell, you know, planning escape. Apparently, how he's going to do that, I don't know. You know, hi Christina. Yeah, the poor neighbours. Yeah, yeah. So who do you think is going to buy that house? There'll be somebody out there who will want a £450 house for £375, no matter who lived in it before. You know, that's a bargain. And some people, if they've got family or whatever, they'll jump at the chance to own a nice house like that at a price, you know, within their budget. Perhaps they couldn't have afforded that house in other circumstances, but because it's going on auction and the price has been slashed, somebody will buy it. Someone will buy it. But anyway, the good news is, one especially, he's never in prison alive. He's got the whole life tariff. So it's terrible what happened to Preston, but at least we know he can never do that to another child. And then we've got Monster 2. He will be out if he survives. And he'll only be, what, 40s? Because he's younger, isn't he? He's only 30, I think, maybe 32 at the most. So he's going to serve 16 years. He is going to get life if he survives prison, of course. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave your DNA on that like button, on the subscribe button. I'm going to put up my Ko-fi links that I always forget to do. I should really be telling you about my books and merchandise and everything. I forget every time, and then it gets to the end and then it's too late. But I will put up I've got a coffee link here somewhere. That's my coffee link. Thank you to those of you who bought me coffees or Ko-fis. Thank you to Kelly, who sent me a super sticker, which I think I've got here somewhere that I can put up. Thank you so much to Kelly for the super sticker. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And yeah, take care of yourselves. Enjoy your weekend. And more importantly, may your God go with you. Thank you.